The Miller-Urey experiment. In 1953, Stanley Miller, in the lab of Harold Urey, simulated what scientists then thought was the early Earth's atmosphere. This was an honest experiment. Miller was not out to trick anybody. The atmosphere he used contained methane, ammonia, hydrogen, and water vapor, and he used an electric spark to simulate lightning. So there's the spark. The water would boil here, the gases enter here, spark, and then the results would accumulate down here. And after a week, Miller analyzed this brown tar and found some amino acids, which are the chemical building blocks of proteins. And this was widely touted as a step in explaining the first step in the origin of life. This showed how the building blocks of life formed on the early Earth. That's the way it was advertised. By 1980, however, geochemists had concluded from many kinds of evidence that the Earth's early atmosphere consisted of gases emitted from volcanoes, and that any hydrogen that might have been there, being the lightest element, would have escaped the Earth's gravity into space. So here we have a comparison to the Miller-Urey gases, water vapor, methane, ammonia, and hydrogen. Lots of hydrogen here, including lots of free hydrogen. And the volcanic gases, water vapor, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, a lot of oxygen here, and a few other trace gases as well. Well, in 1983, Miller himself, with a colleague, tried using a carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide atmosphere to produce amino acids. And they found that the glycine, which is the simplest amino acid of the 20-some amino acids our bodies contain, glycine is almost the only amino acid produced from carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide atmospheres. And then only if they added excess hydrogen. Well, remember, that was the first thing to disappear in the early Earth, according to geochemists. So they had to add excess hydrogen just to make this work. And if they wanted anything more complex, they had to add methane as well. So by 1999, it was clear that the experiment didn't work. This is Freeman Dyson. Miller's experiment was supposed to be a true simulation of prebiotic, that is, pre-life chemistry, on the primitive Earth. But now nobody believes this anymore, except the biology textbooks, which all used to persuade students that life had a materialistic origin. So they were still being used in 2000. Now it's 2017, and it's still there. Here are three widely used textbooks: Kenneth Miller and Joseph Levine, Scott Freeman's Biological Science, Mater's Biology. All of them use the Miller-Urey experiment to convince students that scientists have explained the first step in the materialistic origin of life. So the conclusion here is the Miller-Urey experiment, like other icons of evolution, some of which I'll mention in a minute, persists because the science education establishment wants to indoctrinate students in a grand materialistic story of which this is the beginning. The icons serve to illustrate the story, but in every case, they misrepresent the evidence. This is zombie science.